Travel nursing can bring you to places you've never been before. Tell us your story.
Good morning, everybody. It's Rita at the Travel Nurse Channel again, Tuesday. Sorry I'm late. It wouldn't connect this morning, but here we are. And last week we talked about telehealth and remote nursing. We're going to talk more about that. But I thought, why travel? Why be a travel nurse? Why be a travel nurse? Good times? I mean, we all have to work, right? We chose this profession, and many of us find it very rewarding, and hasn't been terribly easy in the last couple of years during COVID. But why? So why? Primarily for that top pay. Sometimes free housing, sometimes bonuses, reimbursement for your license renewal, reimbursement for your travel costs. What was the last thing? Oh, they can be, it's all rubbed out. It could be tax advantages. I mean, there's many, many reasons. The adventures, the learning, the sharing, seeing new places, but big one right there, top pay. Okay, so I thought, we talk about it. Some people know about it. Some people are thinking about it. And I thought, well, what exactly are people being paid? Are they being paid over $1,000 a week, which would add up if you worked 50 weeks a year, just kept traveling, just took, a couple of days here and there, that totaled up to 2 weeks vacation. What would you make if you made, say, $1,998, which some companies advertise, not the competitive companies, but some companies advertise 1,000. I'm going to bring that closer to me, my notes. $1,998 per week for a traveler. What is that? What is that annual salary? That's almost $100,000. It's $99,900. What if you made $2,266 a week, which some companies advertise? You'd make over six figures. You'd make six figures. $113,000, $113,300 if you worked 50 hours a week. If you worked 50 weeks a year and made $2,266. But some nurses, actually, I'm going to read a story to you in a little bit about somebody that took off traveling. He worked in the ICU for a couple of years and he went, what? And he learned about traveling and he took off. And he made a little more than this, $3,334 a week. That is actually an average now. Most of this information I gathered from January and February 2022. So it's right now happening. Well, it's March now. Happy St. Patty's Day, by the way. I should have worn green. If you earned $3,334 a week as a travel nurse and kept that up for 50 weeks, you'd make $166,700. So that's happening. That's reality for travel nurses. So yes, if you're earning pretty close to $1,000 a week, you're at the lower end of what a travel nurse can make. But it's absolutely reasonable to think you can make $3,000 or more a week. And I just read that Aya Healthcare, I don't know, I know some people that work for them, not as nurses, but administrative type people. I have no reason to disbelieve this, and it is on a site by the Washington Post that Aya, a quick search by the Washington Post, turned up $9,486 per week. And I actually saw $10,000 a week. And what would that be as an annual salary? That'd be $500,000 a year if you worked 50 weeks at that high rate of $10,000 a week. Oh my goodness. You could really pay off your mortgage, take care of your car, could do some good stuff. Anyway, rates are always interesting. And let me open up my comment line. Good morning, everybody. Rita at the Travel Nurse Channel. Here we are. We're a conduit for those that travel, for those that employ them, and for anything and everything having to do with traveling healthcare, and particularly nurses, but all travelers. There are travelers that are CNAs. There are travelers that are LVNs. There are psych techs, that are ultrasound techs, that are physical therapists, occupational therapists. Many, many people travel, and we need you, and we thank you for doing that. And if you want to be a guest on the show, if you want to chat about anything healthcare, anything about your job, please call me. 800-737-6518, 800-737-6518. If you've written about nursing, if you help nurses with finances, if you sell uniforms, whatever, you can be a sponsor on the Travel Nurse Channel, easy peasy, or you can call me and we can talk about it. People are interested in what you have to say. And today we're talking about rates, so let's stick with that. I thought I'd kind of go through some of the states and talk about now, February. When was this article? This article is from January 2022. How much money can you make as a travel nurse? And these are averages for the most part, because if there's a huge demand for labor and delivery, and there often is, there might be more incentive, more money. And same with ICUE and a lot of the specialty areas. But in general, these are average numbers. And of course, in different parts of the state, I'm in Southern California, San Diego, you might make a better rate in Los Angeles or San Francisco, or not. You might make a better rate in San Diego. Kind of really is a catering to the need kind of a thing. And I think because the more popular places can attract the nurses, you know, if you, Los Angeles, have always wanted to go to Los Angeles, it might not be as difficult to recruit nurses, or San Diego, or any of these lovely sunnier places, Miami, Hawaii, you know, something like that. It might be easier to attract the nurse with a competitive rate, but not necessarily the highest rate. So actually, I didn't narrow it down to places in a state, but I'm going to give you some information on what states are generally paying nurses, and I'll give you the hourly rate, and I'll give you the annual rate. Okay. Feel free to call in. We're live right now. We are live on Tuesdays at the Travel Nurse Channel, and from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And welcome your calls, your comments, your concerns, your ideas for future conversations, anything at all in the travel healthcare realm. That's what we're about. So what's the most money you can make as a nurse? And let's start with probably Alabama, right? Would be at the top. It is. Okay. And oh, you know what? I'll throw in this too. What is the cost of living there? Well, no, we won't go through that. It's just too many numbers. But I will tell you who has a higher cost of living. The cost of living in Alabama is not bad. compared to the national. Ooh, yeah, Maryland has a high. Well, Maryland's right next to the capital. Massachusetts is really high. Minnesota's high. Some people have a higher cost of living. Connecticut, pretty high. Colorado, not high. Oh, and it's such a nice state. New Jersey's kind of high. Where's New York? Yeah, pretty high. So New York, cost of living is more than 35% higher than most places. Minnesota, surprisingly, is 34.7%. Where's Massachusetts? Yeah, 34.7 as well. So North Dakota's not high. Ohio's not high. All right, let's talk rates. We're not going to talk cost of living. I think you can kind of gather, and I think the more rural an area is, maybe less populate, if the populace is lower, that it's going to be more difficult to recruit nurses. But not impossible. And it's good to know the rates if you're recruiting nurses, because you kind of have an idea of what you need to do to compete when you talk to your clients, when you talk to the nurses you're recruiting. And it's important to the nurse. If you're going to travel, if you're going to delve into this world, which can be quite wonderful, but you have to, there are glitches, and that's another reason I am here, is because you need to know a little bit about it. And is all that money salary? Is some of that money stipend? Is some of that money bonus money? We were talking about that. There are different reasons why people travel, right? They want the pay, but maybe they want the free housing. Maybe they're looking for bonuses. Maybe they're looking to have their CEUs and their license and so forth reimbursed. So there are different reasons, and maybe you want to earn more of your money in salary money because you are paying a mortgage, and you do have creditors that loaned you money for a car or whatever, for your house, for your mortgage, for your car. So sometimes you do want to see more money in the salary than in the stipends, and you can work with your recruiter based on your own personal needs. If you're concerned about a college fund for your kid or retirement money for yourself, you might want to talk to a really good financial planner. We had a great financial planner many, many months ago. Marlon, I have to contact him again, because he worked very, very closely with many of his clients were nurses, and he learned a lot himself growing up as a young man in the service and not really understanding money and thinking money was meant to be spent only. So he learned a lot, and he put it to good use, and he can help others. Anyway, so Alabama, let's talk about Alabama. The average hourly rate for a traveler in Alabama, I don't think there's hardly anything here lower than $39, but we'll see as I go through the list. In Alabama, $44.52, which totals to be close but not quite, no cigar, to the six-figure realm. It averages out to be $92,602. Let's skip to Alaska. Is very similar. Arizona is a little higher. Let's skip to somebody that's even higher. Connecticut. I'm using the wrong mouse. I'm working on two computers here. Okay. Connecticut, where my brother lives and my beautiful nieces and sister-in-law. Connecticut is $46.79, the average travel hourly rate. That translates to $97,321 a year. And these are probably gross. Yeah, this is an average, or mean rather. A mean average, mean in the middle. Let's see. Okay, going a little higher, going to Hawaii's average hourly rate, $47.65 an hour, $99,116 per annual. Who's higher? Ooh, finally beat that. Okay, Massachusetts, the state of Massachusetts. But compare Massachusetts to Alabama. That's like in a negative percentage for cost of living compared to others. Massachusetts has a pretty high cost of living. It would be 34.7% higher than most. So you might want to talk with your recruiter or your recruiting company if you're going to Massachusetts about some housing. Yeah, because it's expensive there. Anyway, so they pay on average hourly $48.74, which turns out to be $101,389. Minnesota's pretty high too, $45.05 an hour. That's 93, almost 93,700. Who else have we got here? Oh, New Hampshire's quite high. Look at that. New Hampshire. I like New Hampshire. Their cost of living is under 1% compared to the rest of the country. Beautiful state. 55.16 an hour is their average hourly rate, and that turns out to be $114,727. 114,000, almost 115,000. New York. Now, New York you would expect, right? Same as Massachusetts. You got big cities there. Boston, you know, historical cities, founding father cities. High cost of living in New York, over 35% higher than others. They pay $56.80 on average hourly. That turns out to be $118,145. So there you go. There's some comparisons. Let's pick someplace in the middle, in the South. Tennessee, $45.12 average hourly rate. That's $93,856. That's not bad. And West Virginia is higher than Virginia. Virginia pays $43.23 average hourly rate, and West Virginia pays $49.35. And the cost of living in both those places, oh no, the cost of living in Virginia is lower. It's under 1%, and in Virginia it's 4.3%. Interesting. Anyway, if you're getting paid $49.35, that's an annual rate of $102,645. So that's not bad. And that's kind of the story about rates. So they're going to vary. Almost nobody was, oh, look at this. Wyoming's high. Wyoming, is that where Yellowstone is? Wyoming, that beautiful state. It's got a Yellowstone. It's got a series named after it, which I haven't gotten into, but I really loved 1883. I digress to television. Television was my savior when I was recovering from my hip surgery. Wyoming is paying $50.63 is their average hourly rate. That adds up to one of the highest rates I've seen amongst the states, $105,304. So that'd be a fun place to visit. My husband's been there. I have not. And then, of course, so are you making over $1,000 a week? Are you making over $2,000 a week? If you're a traveler, you're probably going to make about $3,000 a week. Potentially more than that. Potentially $3,334, according to one source. And here, and then you heard Aya in the same article from the Washington Post was offering $10,000 a week. Now, can you make that all year long? I don't think so. Is $10,000 offered for a 13-week assignment? I would do my homework and find out for sure. But I did see that $9,000 figure somewhere. Where did I see it? Not here at the Post. Oh, it was Aya. It was here at the Post. I saw somewhere else 10,000 a week, but Aya actually in writing, as quoted by the Washington Post, was offering for ICU. Where did it go? Oh my gosh, it was over 9,000. 9,486 a week. Well, if you're an ICU nurse and you want to make some good money, you might want to call and find out. Get your details. Find out what is expected of you, how you earn that. Is some of it bonuses? Is it salary? Is it stipends? Do you have? This is what I always suggest for any job, because I've been, practically a professional interviewer in the last many years of my career. Gosh, when did I start? 1995? 1995? Yeah, I think it was. I think it was September 3rd, 1995. That was a long time going in the Wayback Machine. And I started employing nurses, and I started my own nursing agency. And I did a lot of per diem employment, and worked with many hospitals all over Southern California, a couple of them out of state, did Arizona, did New Jersey. It can be done. Who knew when I became a nurse that I'd be doing all this stuff? It mostly is because my husband is a serial entrepreneur, has been since he was a kid, selling Full-A-Brush and pound cake and lemonade to the golfers near his house. Anyway, he encouraged me not only to try out per diem nursing when we had toddler children, and it was, stressful to try and figure out childcare and work and so forth. And per diem nursing turned out to be great. I loved the company that I worked for, and my husband could back me up on the childcare. It was really a great segue once I had children to do per diem. I didn't do travel per se. I did do some like long-term per diem assignments. That was sort of like a travel thing, but it was local, So if I had it to all do again, I might try the travel thing once the kids got grown, but I didn't. I started an agency. So I just go off on these tangents. I'm sorry about that. What did I want to tell you? We're talking about rates. I want to tell you one young nurse's story. I think he was 25. Is it on this site? Let's see. Yep, because there's this picture. Really cute. Very cute. Okay. Nurses are leaving their staff jobs and tripling their salaries as travelers. That's the title of this health article, and was written in 2021. And the American Hospital Association, there's this little blip about who's profit, who's nonprofit. Okay, so I'm going to read you this article. Wanderlust and the money to fund it made this fellow, I won't mention his name, just because I won't mention his name. I haven't talked to him. I'm just reading his story on the Washington Post. Okay, Wanderlust and the money to fund it made this young man's decision easy. After working a couple of years in an intensive care unit, he signed up to be a travel nurse, tripling his pay. That's one man's story, and it's from over a year ago. No, not quite over a year ago, December. Well, no, I don't know when it is, because the article was written in December 2021. Tripling his pay to about $95 an hour. That's good money, people. I just read you all those rates in all the states. They're mostly in the 40s, the mid 40s, and as high as the 50s per hour. He was making $95 an hour by agreeing to help short-staffed hospitals around the country for 13 weeks at a time. That's your typical travel assignment. Travel proved to be a misnomer. His current assignment is in Traverse City, Michigan, only a few hours from his old full-time job in Lessing, Michigan. Close enough that he still works per diem at his previous hospital. What a go-getter. Okay. Now he's 25. He's buying a truck and a camper and preparing to hit the road. He'll work where he wants and take time off to see the country between his nursing assignments. Well, at $95 an hour, go guy. That's great. As soon as I found out that was a thing, I thought, that's got my name written all over it, he said. And he agreed when he agreed to discuss his new work life if the hospitals were not named. See, that's why I don't think we should name hospitals or persons without permission. We shouldn't do it. Oh, I got a little ring there on the back of my head there. Okay. Then I don't know what this is a picture of. March 2020. They asked 5 nurses, the Post asked 5 nurses across the U.S. to describe what it's like working on the front lines of the corona. Oh, yeah. I saw that video too. Yep, it ain't easy. If 2020 was the year travel nursing took off with 35% growth in the travel industry for nurses, the pre-pandemic year of 2019 has propelled it to new heights. Yep, it's going up. If you're thinking about traveling, this is the time to do it. Okay, that's it. That's it about that young man. So he worked for $95 an hour for a bit, for a year. Then he bought a truck and a camper, and he's off. He liked it. He liked it. I'm sorry. There is a comment. We have such an extreme shortage of nurses. Should we bring in nurses from Philippines or elsewhere? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think we alone in the United States have a shortage. I do believe there's an international shortage. So we should share the wealth kind of a thing, you know. I think we should exchange some nurses for countries that need it, and we should recruit from countries that want to come here. Oftentimes, thank you for that question. Oftentimes, I hear when I'm broadcasting from people from different lands asking, how do I become a travel nurse in the United States? What's it like? What do I need? And I did, in one of my broadcasts, mention some companies and some places to contact if that's something you want to do coming from another country. What I know a little bit about it, because when I was in the business of employing lots of nurses for per diem nursing work, was that there were companies in the day that would help with the visas and so forth. There's a lot. If you're coming from another country, number one, paramount, you have to be fluent in English. Number two, you have to be able to get a license in the state you're going to work in, right? You have to have the qualifications, so you're going to need transcripts from schools, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's a while, I think. If you come here to travel, it's going to be a while before you can establish things like driver's license and banking accounts and so forth. So you really need people to sponsor you. So it's a very big job, particularly if you're bringing in more than one nurse from the Philippines or from whatever country. So you kind of have to be their surrogate family for a while, right? You probably need to bring them here a little bit before the assignment starts and work with them and, you know, eyeball to eyeball, have that conciliatory connection, and then find housing that's close to the facility so they don't have to worry about transportation if they haven't yet gotten a driver's license, you know, bicycle or acclimated. They have to acclimate. I mean, I love traveling. And even if I'm traveling from one state to another, there's that adjustment to the style, to the culture, to the various weather, and I'm very directionally impaired. I really am. I love roads that are at right angles. Like these roads that go like this, and you go into counties where, you know, they're not county roads. Oh my goodness. I actually, this past week, was lost for almost an hour. And I was meeting a friend. I hadn't seen him forever, and she waited for me. I was an hour late. Good gravy. An hour late in a small part of the county. Good gravy. Anyway, so yeah, so I think bringing in nurses from anywhere, and anyone who wants to come here and work should, but I do think it's a big project, and I don't know enough about it. But I did speak to companies years ago, and they had to go through a lot of red tape, a lot of legal stuff, and then be prepared to kind of be a surrogate family as the nurses from other countries acclimated. So, but it's a great idea, and I don't think we should be greedy. I think if other countries need nurses, you know, we should share. We should share, because we're all in a shortage. What we really need to do probably is talk to younger people about this beautiful world of healthcare and all the needs that are in it, and encourage more people to come into it. So anyway, I've been chatting along. We talked about rates. If you want to make six figures, you can. And yeah, people have and do triple their salaries. We talked about one young man's story. He found out about travel nursing after a couple of years working as an ICU nurse, and off he went. And he did it, and is going to continue to do it so that he can travel more. And it helped him. He started earning $95 an hour. It helped him to get a truck and a camper. Because the picture I see of him at the beginning of the article, he is sitting in a car. Where is he? There he is. Oh, I don't know if it's a car. It's too close up to tell. He could be sitting in his new truck. I think I'm a little silly today. I haven't had breakfast. Time for breakfast. Okay, folks. So great to talk to you. I hope you're interested in those rates. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, if you want to talk, if you want to be on the broadcast, tell your friends about us. We have thousands and thousands of viewers, but we want to talk to you. So I am talking to authors. I am talking to travel nurses. And I think I'm going to talk to my friend Marlon again, see if he'll talk to us about what's going on with nurses and their finances, and get some guests on the show so I don't bore you to pieces here. All right. Thank you very much. Happy St. Patty's Day in a couple of days. Don't forget to wear green. Otherwise, you know, the trickster leprechauns might play a joke on you, or somebody might pinch you. Anyway, have a great, great week. Thank you, all you wonderful travel healthcare workers, all you wonderful travel nurses, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Hang on for the commercial, because she is darn cute. My little girl.
Travel nursing can bring you to places you've never been before. Tell us your story.